to Changing the Sales Game on webtalkradio.com. I'm your host, Connie Whitman. You know that my guest and I are thrilled that you're joining us this week. Now, as you listen to the show, number one, I really, really hope that you feel my passion about helping you change your perspective on sales, right? And what that means and all of the angst that sometimes comes with that word. For the past 35 years, I've lived off referrals, and my business has actually continued to grow by building those lifelong and like-minded referral partners. Now, please take a moment just for a minute and think about the time and effort it takes to create new raw business opportunities. There is a concoction of habits that have to go into the whole business development process, again, depending on the industry, your skill level, experience, et cetera. Now, for me, a huge piece of my concoction of habits is giving and generating referrals every single day. So I habitually send out at least probably 5 to 10 introductory emails every week. And yeah, I said that every week. I'm not special. I know a lot of people. And the reality is that I have honed my business development habits and skills by being a great connector. The old saying, the more you give, the more you get. It is true. So today I'm excited to share my guest. His name is Bob Bruder. Bob, like me, is a heart-centered leader in his industry. He's a passionate regional director for CoolVu Glass and Service Solution, with strong experience in the window film industry. Now, with 40 plus years of experience, he's proven the ability to guide many small business owners to grow successful businesses. His love for business and industry fuels his commitment to providing guidance and support to his new franchisees. So please help me welcome my new friend, Bob, to the show. Bob, thanks for being on.
Oh, thanks for having me. Just listening to your introduction, it just excited me so much. There's so much that I've heard from you just right there. That is just so much the truth, giving to get. This is going to be a fun time. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I am so honored. So let's talk about that, right? You were referred to me, or I was referred to you actually, to say, hey, I think there's something here. You guys might be able to create some magic together. We met and I was like, oh man, dude, you got to be on my show. This is important. This is an important conversation we're having, and we need to bring it to now the marketplace, in this case, my listeners on the show. So referrals, connections, like-minded people, all of the things we're really good at using words for, we need to execute that. And I think you and I live and breathe it, Bob, and that's an important piece of the puzzle as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I find that the more you give, the more you get. Basically, you don't give to get, but it's almost like a secret, because the people that just go out for the sale and just go out to, oh yeah, I'll get you a referral. That's not how it happens. It doesn't come from that inner piece. And that's really, I kind of call it the connect, if you will.
Yeah.
But after reading your book, I just got so excited about so many of the examples that you shared in there, of that connect firsthand.
Yes. Yeah. And you, like me, Bob, we've been in business a long time. And, I've met the good, the bad, and the ugly. You've met the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And what happens though is you really start to, my mom used to say, water seeks its own level. And really all that means is those like-minded people, like you, work ethic, all those things, family, right? Just those little pieces of the puzzle, values that we have. You find your people, and that's where you want to play, because it's fun, it's easy, and it's profitable, but everybody wins. There's no downside. Yes. So I think you kind of come from that framework and upbringing like I was, which is really nice. When we meet people, you feel like you've known each other forever. And I love that. I think that's an important piece of business that we forget. We forget business is personal.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so amazing what you just said there. I too come from that place, in that I'm not necessarily looking at this sale. I'm almost assuming I have this sale. It's because I'm going to serve you well. It's about, I'm looking at the next sale. because it's the relationship you're building, not the sale you're going after.
Exactly. It's not transactional, right? You and I,
That's
we
right.
both play the long game, right? Changing the sales game. I say we're playing the long game, Bob. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm so I'm so curious. How did you get into this the the film industry, and now you're a franchise owner. So how did that all come to be?
Yeah. So, well, back in the early 80s, I heard a knock on the door. So I answered the door, and it was my landlord. And he says, Bob, do you have the rent? And I said, no. He says, well, do you have a job? And I said, no. He said, get dressed. You're going to work. So I didn't grow up looking to be in the window film industry, albeit it's a blessing that I ended up there. But it's a way that I can serve not just my business building drive, but also help people in ways that, whether it's solar control, safety films, decorative films, I get to serve them and make sure that they get good work. Okay. And then of course that back feeds into more work, and it just goes from there. But
Ripple
that's
effect.
kind of how I got involved in the industry. As embarrassing as it may be to say, but I was for the first 20 years of my life, I was an independent contractor where I was hired by the manufacturers to go around and tend high rise buildings, hospitals, just big projects.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, so then in 2000, I became a business owner. I moved from California to Arkansas. My dad had a stroke here, so I came out here to help take care of him.
Oh,
And fast forward yet another 5 or so years, got into distribution, where I would purchase the films from the different manufacturers and set up various dealers and help them grow. I would make more money. Okay. Then along came CoolVu, which is really the best chapter of my life.
oh.
The team is phenomenal. Um, I carried those attributes over into being an area director. I don't purchase film and sell it to our franchisees, but I do help them grow their businesses. I game plan, strategize, help them hire, um, just stuff like that.
So a couple of things that I love the fact that your franchisees, right, those under you, that you've been in this kind of business for a really long time. So you've honed the skill, you're an expert, but not only are you an expert of the craft of the films and all of those things for Windows, but the craft of business ownership and sales skills and communication skills and customer service. And when you put those films on, they're perfect. Like there's no room for error, because if the client isn't happy, you're never going to get referral business. So it's one thing to know your craft of installation. It's another to combine that. Very important. I'm not saying that's not important, but you've combined that with you now mentoring and supporting these other franchisees. And I think that's an important piece. It's that you chose, probably maybe even without realizing, I don't know, Bob, but you become this leader for all of these other people that you have an impact with to help. And again, it's this place of helping. It's clients they serve are better, right? Did you end up choosing that leadership role, or it just was natural for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I have a thirst for business. I have a drive. Um, I love what I do. And so, did I choose it? The business end? I guess so, because I just love to build business, and I love to help other
Yeah.
people build the business, especially when it's in the industry that I love so much. But through the mentorship of, our founder, Jeff Franson, and our president of the brand, Mike Herrera, I mean, these guys are phenomenal. They literally are the best at what they do. And, whether it's a formal situation or not, they're my mentors, and it's through observation. And I'm the kind of guy that, literally will pay money to have somebody teach me, or should, what I used to say is I pay money to have somebody chew me out, because so many of our employees, right, as you groom them, they feel like you're down on them, and they're getting that guidance for free. Well,
Yeah.
as a business owner, we have to seek that knowledge out. And
Yeah.
so when I thought about this, it was like, how can I take my passion for business and my passion for helping people grow, and in that giving, my business has just flourished.
Yeah.
It's not even through the one customer that I gave to. I mean, it literally is just being a giver of heart, that it truly has come back, you know, well, I can guarantee you it's 3x when you look at my numbers, okay? But tenfold in essence, because I've even become a better man for it.
Yeah.
So
It's like magic, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, and it's not, it's just being a freaking good person. So two things I want to comment on. I had a executive new to running the division, and I was training the employees. So I always ask from the CEO all the way down, they should come through my training, because you need to hear what's being said. You never know what you might learn either, right? But you need to know what your people are hearing, because then after the training, right, we have to inspect what we expect. We have to coach and mentor and all the things we're talking about today. So anyway, he came to my training, Bob. It was so cute. And he said, I got hired by this company, and I kept hearing Connie Whitman and training and sales. And they have, this particular bank has an internal training resource. And he says, like, we have training. Why are we outsourcing this? So he says, oh, I'm going to this class. I want to meet her. I want to see what she's all about, blah, blah, blah. At the end of, I don't know any of this, right? So he comes, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited you're here. And at the end of the class, he comes up to me. Everybody had left. And he goes, do you have a minute? And I said, of course. And he shares this with me. And he says, I just sat through your class. Not only are you teaching sales, you're teaching people how to be good humans. And Bob, I was taken back, and I said, oh, and he said, you're teaching them life skills that are going to impact, their professional life for sure. Yeah, it's going to impact the bottom line of the bank. That's great. But it's impacting them, their career, their families, right? This whole ripple effect. I was really touched, because you know how you do what you do, but you're not really sure how it's always received. That was the
Right.
first thing. The other thing I wanted to say to you is, yesterday I was teaching a class, again, one of my corporate clients in the New England states. And at the end, I always ask, what is the one thing you learned through the program? One thing, because you can't implement 10 different things at the same time. You fail, right? We're human. What's the one thing? And then I said, the second question I'd like you to answer is, what could I have done better for you, or for the bank, or, for whoever? And they were taken back, and they hesitated. And I said, no, give it to me straight, man. What could I have done better? Because that makes me better. And that makes how I deliver to the client, the next client, better. And they gave me such wonderful feedback about timing and stuff like that. It wasn't about my presentation per se, but I have to tell you, I said at the end, oh my gosh, there's 4 things I have to work on. So we're never perfect, by the way. And if we don't seek feedback from those that we're serving, we're missing steps. We're missing that feedback, which I think is really, really critical. So I love that you kind of are good at this. But again, see, it was intuitively for you, Bob, to share your zone of genius through this love. You know me, I call sales love, care, and respect. I know I'm a
Yes.
goofball. But you naturally did the love, care, and respect. It wasn't like, oh, I better give so I get more. It was
No.
just, oh, these people need help. Let me go out and do it. Right.
Yeah. 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 After 40 years, we become overnight success, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. It took us 40 years to get here, Bob. Right. I love
Right.
it. I love it. What's
And
been the
that's what.
biggest? Go ahead.
Oh, and that's what I try to do through my business is, or this part of what I do is, I try to distill down what I've done over the years, and distill it down to the basic elements, and then
Yep.
share that, because look, obviously 20 years of work, but that's a long road. That's a long road. There's a lot of learning in there. But at the same time, can it be done faster? Can there be a little study? Can there be a little reflection? What worked? What didn't work? Where to invest your time, your money? So yeah, I really love that side. Is that,
Yeah.
I can distill down my experience and just give it so freely and just hope they achieve higher heights than I've achieved in a much shorter time.
Yeah, it's all about paying it forward, it's interesting. And I don't know if you're finding this, but as like for the show, for example, I'm getting younger listeners in my training, of course, as they have new hires or new graduates. So I have younger people that are following me now. And that's been fascinating because I'm aging. And yet this younger, my kids age, their generation is craving information. So I'm really excited that I think the pendulum went from, the baby boomers of just work and have no life, which I think is very unhealthy, like
Right.
my parents, the way our parents lived, just work and you got a paycheck and, soul sucking didn't matter. And I think that's not good. All the way to the generation before my kids, where they saw their parents go through turmoil later in their careers. So they had a little bit of a shift. And now this generation, the Gen Zs, I'm finding are very similar to our generation, my generation, where it's that work-life balance. They're doing a better job than we are, but
Yeah.
it's about seeking mentorship, which I find sometimes the millennials are more hesitant to ask for help. And these kids coming out of college, I find, are eagerly seeking help. And I love that because you're right. Somebody, graduates from Rutgers. That's my alma mater. And they'll email me on LinkedIn, Bob, and they'll say, hey, I love what you're doing out there. Can we have a, Zoom cup of coffee? I want to pick your brain. I'm a new graduate. Every time I say yes, because somebody helped me along the way, right? Like we have to pay it forward and give these kids a leg up, because the world is a lot, I think in some ways a lot tougher than it was maybe when we were kind of coming through the ranks. I have another question for you. Becoming the franchisee owner, how has that impacted your whole business acumen that you've done for the past 40 years?
So yeah, being in business for a long time, I kind of thought although I have a thirst for knowledge and growth and all that, I mean, in my industry, I achieved well. And I kind of thought, and I hate to say it, you can sense a hesitation, but, there wasn't much more I could learn. Um,
Yeah.
but when I partnered with the franchise and the brand, and the mentors from the founder Jeff Franson and my career, the president,
Yeah.
my life changed immensely. So not only am I getting better insights of what to do, what not to do, how to guide, just by witnessing their day-to-day activities. I mean, I literally have the best on my cell phone, and it's amazing. Then the neat thing about franchising is it's truly a partnership. There's so much in what I've done in my career that I had to design all the brochures, and hope they didn't look hokey and use a paper cutter to cut them in half, um, right? Um, to save money, right? Uh, uh, there's just so much, the invoicing, the website, the marketing efforts, all these things that corporate does, and they do really, really well. I now get to focus, as far as what I'm talking about. I think, to your question, my individual franchise, I get to focus on the two things that matter the most: selling the work and getting the work installed to the customer's satisfaction.
Yeah.
So the true partnership for me is hugely invaluable. And those that grasp that concept, well, we all know that franchising is been around a long time.
Yeah.
And those that are in franchising, they understand the power of it too. So to half of your listeners, they're knowing what I'm talking about. To the other half, you really should consider it as opposed to an independent type business model, because the partnership upline is hugely invaluable.
Yeah, talk to me about, because I see, I agree with that. They're good at what they're good at. Their product is stellar. Their systems are stellar, right? All of those pieces of the puzzle. They need people like you now to go out into the marketplace, whatever, wherever your demographic is, and then be able to sell this good quality stuff. And when I met you the first time, that night at dinner, my husband said, "Oh, how was your day?" And this really cool guy. And this was the thing that for me, my kids coming through the school system. And when we were in school, we didn't have to walk through metal detectors and some of the things that the kids are facing today. We didn't have, under your desk and close doors, and we didn't have any of that. So your company, CoolVu, they do the bulletproof film, so that in the school districts, in the schools. And I thought, oh, what a great product, because the world has shifted, and God forbid we don't know. And as a parent, you're a parent, we send our kids off, especially the little ones, off to school. You now have no control of what's going on. So that your company, CoolVu, makes these awesome protective coverings. It's like, who knew? I wouldn't know, because I'm not in that industry. I was so fascinated after meeting you. Additionally, you do the pretty ones, somebody in the bathroom, they want it to look like marble or whatever. But the bulletproof one, like, whoa, this technology is really cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you one thing that I need to be real careful of, and people in our industry, is using the words bulletproof. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay. Everything needs to be referred to as bullet resistant.
Bullet
Uh,
resistant. Yes.
yes. Okay. However, our product's bullet shield, okay, it's a really thick polycarbonate panel that goes on the outside of the windows. It has been tested to UL 752 standards. That's Underwriters Laboratories. So that means it literally is 16 feet 4 inches away, point blank shots from a 9mm all the way up to an AR-15. Okay.
Wow.
So yes, that tremendous product. The Defense Light product is a forced entry product. It's the same polycarbonate panel. It's a little bit thinner. And our catchphrase with that one is just no entry, no harm, because you can literally beat on it for hours. I mean, we've yet to have a failure. Okay. And lots of the big retailers that we do work for, they've been in those areas where the riots are.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, riots, it's not just one person going up and trying to break a window with a rock laying on the ground. These are teams of people literally taking turns beating on the windows. Okay. But our security films, you mentioned, that is the most affordable product. It's like a regular window film that goes on your car,
True.
but it goes on these commercial buildings or schools, and it slows the entry. So now the schools or the banks or the corporate entities, they can have time for their exit strategies to go into place. Their safe protect, and also give law enforcement time to get there.
Yeah. And, all of these things, like, who would have thought? So that's why I was just so fascinated. Like, again, unless you ask questions and you meet people or introduce to people, how do we know that these things exist? I want to go back to you're honored to work with Mike and Jeff, right? The CEO
Sure.
and the president, and they mentor you, help you, right? And help all the franchisees. What are one of the things that through your 40 years, though, that you bring to the table as it relates to those power referral partners? And how have, like, the more you give, the more you get, right? But you have these partners out there that feed you business on a regular basis. So talk to me about that. Like, how do you, I know how I do it, but how do you develop those lifelong, like-minded referral partners that's profitable for everybody, right? Everybody wins.
Yeah. So in our industry, we have many other industries that need us
Mm,
so they can complete their work.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
Architects, when a architect has a customer who wants to build a big building and they want frosted window film across the conference room windows, they literally need a window film company to come in and do that.
mhm,
Okay. Glass companies, they're a natural referring entity.
mm,
Designers, decorators, blinds companies, window washers. There's a bunch of them that absolutely need us to do our job so they can complete their projects.
mm,
So that is what, the brand teaches. That's what I teach to the franchisees is they teach the high level at corporate. You need to focus in these areas, and that's solid gold information.
sure.
But when I couple that with me and my personality, I'm an every guy. In other words, I want every window washer. I want every blinds company, every glass company. So literally, what I do, although it's, cold, callous, it's work. Okay. If you dig in and do your Google searching and find every window washer in your territory and you find every blinds company in your territory and put them on a list, a visual list on the wall. Okay. You can let that tickle your mind. Okay. And eventually that connection will happen.
Agree.
Yes, you sit down and work your lists, but at the same time, God comes into play, and next thing you know, you meet him, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what corporate teaches. That's what I teach to franchisees, and see, being in this industry for so long, um, I built my business prior to the influence of the internet.
Mhm.
Okay. So corporate does a great job, SEO on the website, and then and the beautiful graphics and all the marketing pieces. And I tell the franchisees, let's as business owners, let's participate in that. Let's get above the fold on Google on our search engines. So maybe run a pay-per-click campaign and do a map ranks. That's a company that helps us really do SEO on the maps that pop up. So now we're in 3, 4 places above the fold
Wow.
on the internet. And then when you're done doing that, set it aside. Now let's get to work on what we can control.
Yeah.
Control the controllables. That's the referral partner network, and that's where it gets really good. I mean, literally, if the internet shut down today, it would hardly affect my business.
Yeah. Yeah. Digital is important. You're right. I hear you that the SEO, all of those things. The end of the day, business is personal. So yeah, we have to be out there. We have to be out there doing what you're describing. So yeah, it's real life, man. This is real life. All right. So I have one more question. We're out of time. This goes very fast, Bob. I know, like 30 minutes. What? How fast did that go? Because we're having fun, right? That's all about fun. So I know you read my book, which by the way, I'm very honored that you read my book. Now, you shared
Love
with
it.
me that you feel that a missing ingredient that you often see in your business and maybe have seen with your business partners is my heart-centered approach, right? That love, care, and respect. I'm curious, why did that just simple phraseology or our conversation about a week or so ago, why did that simple shift catch your eye, or why did it resonate with you just so strongly? I'm just curious because I wrote the book. I love that reaction.
Right, right. Uh, I guess you've pointed out that I'm a heart-centered referral partner builder as well, so maybe that's why it connected. But the real truth of it is that the things I teach are mechanical. The way I'm viewing it,
Yeah.
when that missing ingredient is the giving, okay, it is the proper connect. One of your stories really touched me, and that was when you went into a meeting, okay, and you can tell I like to teach by stories too. We're kind of
Welcome my game, baby. I love it.
So you went into a meeting, and the CEO said, okay, great, show me your PowerPoint. And it made me think, if you could, think about it, I could see his eyes rolling. Great, show me your PowerPoint, right? But you said, great, I'm happy to do so. But first, can I get to know what it is that you're looking for? Because I can talk all day long about what I do and love it. I'm very versed at it. That's great. But if I don't nail what you need me to nail, the rest of it is going to do nothing but bore you. It's going to waste your time. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I don't know that you can see it, but it truly is. As soon as I said those words, you really are wasting that man's time.
Yes,
That is the heart that you need to find,
that's
because
right.
without connect in every situation, all you have is price
That's
to
it.
compete on.
You're
Okay.
exactly right. The funny end to that story is he was leaving. His name was Mark. The CEO is Mark, one of my Connecticut banks. And as he was leaving, he turned around and he said, Con. I said, yeah, Mark, what's up? And he goes, you see what you did here with us today? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I need you to teach that to my employees. He
Oh,
got it. He got it, Bob. And I looked at him. It was so funny because no one had ever said that to me. Again, those aha moments personally in my business, in my own growth as a business owner. And I looked at him and I giggled and I said, Mark, it's how I roll. And we both chuckled. He had a good sense of humor. He got me. He really did get me. But you're right. That was such an impactful story. And unfortunately, they had 4 vendors before me that came in with PowerPoints, and it was boring and useless. And I come in and he was like, what pattern interrupt? What did she just say? She doesn't have it. What? And all of a sudden I gave him the reasoning and he thought, yeah, man, that makes sense. This is what my people need to do. So again, it's obvious, but sometimes it's not obvious. So I think you and I come from a bit of intuition as it relates to connection, and sales to me is connecting with people, again, from that love, care, and respect. And I think it's been intuitive for 40 years for me. And I think even though reading the book, you were like, wait, I do that. I think it's been intuitive for you. You just never labeled it. So it could be because I'm a female. Sometimes it's easier for a woman to say, oh, sales, love, care, and respect. It's that little bit softer energy, right? Because I'm a female. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah,
you get what I'm saying. So
I do.
we're out of time, my friend, but I love you. You're amazing. And I need to share your contact info. So listen, if anyone is curious about Bob, the business, CoolVu, franchising, he's happy to have conversations with you, even if it's not that you want to do the films on the windows. Email him. It's B for Bob Bruder, Bruder at CoolVu, CoolVu.com. I will put that in the show notes. And also check out the website of CoolVu. Listen, I have a lot of corporate clients. I have a lot of teachers that follow me in school, school board, just from people I know. You never know who's hearing this. This might be exactly what they're looking for. So again, it's CoolVu, CoolVu.com, and B Bruder at CoolVu.com. Both will be in the show notes. Bob, truly a delight, a joy. Keep doing what you're doing. Not only is the products that you're bringing to the market relevant, super important, but you and what you're paying forward to this younger generation of franchisees, and you being the conduit from corporate to these franchisees, you play such a vital role. And I'm really honored that I've met you and that, we've been playing together, because I think philosophically we both come from the same place. So it's a joy to meet people like that.
Yes, it is. It's such a the blessing is mine. I mean, I truly feel so honored to have met you. The introduction from Julie, and so thank you so much for just having me here. I mean, I've forgotten about the microphone, forgotten about the camera, and I'm just sitting here chatting with you. We've got to do this again, right? I'm gonna
Amen. Hey,
I'm going to send you some coffee that you can set up at, okay, and some cookies or something, and then we're going to get on the Zoom again.
I
Oh,
love it.
okay.
See, this is the beauty of the technology now, Bob. Think about it. You're in the Midwest, I'm on the East Coast, and we're able to do this and create some really good content, have a little bit of fun. It's magic to me. The COVID, as horrifying and terrible as a disease it is and was, right? People were dying. Thank goodness we have a little more control over it. We know better how to respond, but it opened this whole world of Zoom, and now everybody's on Zoom or Teams or, you know, these
Sure.
virtual settings. So it's wonderful that I get to meet, you know, people across the world. I love it. You know me, I love meeting people. So
Yeah. I've
I'm a dork.
actually got a I've actually got a team up there right now in Massachusetts, protecting an entire school district. You know, we
Oh,
service the entire nation,
I know.
you know, protecting schools. But we've got a team up there now. I should tell Vicky, and maybe she should drop by and say hi with you.
I'm in Jersey, so it's a bit of a ride, but she can wave as she goes by.
Okay. Thank you
Listen,
so
Bob,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Truly a pleasure. And again, check out Bob B. Bruder at CoolVu.com and CoolVu.com. Check out his stuff. Trust me, they're doing amazing things out there. So thank you to CoolVu as well. And thank you, Bob. And I hope you will join me weekly as we question, build, and discover together, no matter where you are on changing your sales game. I truly hope my guests and I provide some inspiration, ideas, strategies, recommendations that you can implement to your life, your business, your career today. Information's a beautiful thing. If you do nothing with it, it's simply information. I promise you, as soon as you take an idea, strategy through our conversation that Bob and I had today, and you put it, you actually go into action and apply it in your life, business, career, magic happens. There's no doubt about it. Bob and I know that. I want you to know that. And I want you to be inspired to make those changes that are necessary. Bob, thank you again. Thank you all for tuning in. You've been listening to Changing the Sales Game with me, your host, Connie Whitman, on webtalkradio.com. I truly wish you an inspired week filled with change so that you can make more money, serve bigger, love more, and just make a difference out in the world. That's why we're here. I'm honored that you're joining me on this journey of changing your sales game, and I will see you all next week. Have a great one, everybody. I love you.